TV. Stakes action heats up across the country. From Churchill Downs, older horses tear up the turf in the Chorley Wood. Then it's the ladies' turns as the 3-year-old fillies take center stage in the Monomoy Girl Overnight. Out west at Santa Anita, we're trackside for turf thrills in the Grade 3 Daytona Stakes. Don't miss the best racing from coast to coast. Play today on the FanDuel Racing app.
Hi, everybody, and a very good Saturday morning to you. You're watching FanDuel TV, and a big hello to all those joining us on our social channels as well. I'm Joaquin Jaime, joining you from our FanDuel TV studios here in Los Angeles. We look back to a week ago. It was the Belmont Stakes. We close out the Triple Crown, 3 races in 5 weeks. Now we look towards the second half of the year, but no all-star break in our sport, no time to decompress. We roll right along to the next weekend of big racing here on FanDuel TV. Let's start by showing you what we have coming up today with our storylines. It is Delaware Derby Day, the first Delaware Derby. Main track is fast, turf course is firm to start the day at Delaware Park. In Oceanport, New Jersey, it is Haskell Preview Day, 4 stakes races there. How about our champion 2-year-old filly from a year ago, Immersive, returns off the layoff. She makes her 3-year-old debut in the Monomoy Girl. Since we're talking about 3-year-old fillies, let's take a look at the top 3-year-old fillies in the division so far this year. And as we do every single weekend, plenty of money-back special opportunities. Megan Payton will be telling you about those money-back special opportunities for you FanDuel Racing account holders coming up in just a moment. But we focus in on the 3-year-old filly division. And we'll take a look at the top 3-year-olds in this division so far, at least this year. And we'll go from 3 to 1, starting with the horse that we saw win the off-the-turf race last weekend, and that is going to be Nitrogen. Top filly, relished the dirt in her most recent start in the off-the-turf wonder again. Yeah, I'd say so. She won by 17 lengths. She was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies to close out her 2-year-old season when she was a maiden. Now she's just rattled off 5 consecutive stakes wins. 4 of them were on the grass. And then, as I mentioned just a second ago, off the turf in the wonder again, 91 Beyer, 17-length victory so far, whether it's turf or it's dirt. Granted, I know it was a field of 3. She's one of the top 3-year-old fillies in the division this year. Also, on the same card was the Grade 1 Acorn Stakes. And Lara, she won the Grade 1 Acorn. She's a 2-time Grade 1 winner so far this year. She won the Ashland Stakes at Keeneland Racecourse. Then she won the Acorn in wire-to-wire fashion, defeating Good Cheer, who, even though Good Cheer was off the board in the Grade 1 Acorn in her most recent start, to me, she is still the leader of this particular division. She is 3 for 4 this year. When you look at Good Cheer, her off-the-board finish was just really out of the realm for her in her most recent start. Yes, it was a sloppy racetrack. She's performed well over a sloppy racetrack, of course, but for whatever reason, just had an off day, and she finished off the board. So Good Cheer in her Kentucky Oaks victory, as I was mentioning, her performance over and off racetrack, very wide here at the top of the stretch. And this is the first bad race that she's thrown in. Speaking of her last race in the Acorn at Saratoga, the first bad race that she has had in her racing career. Since that time, she's just been a very, very consistent performer for the homebred for Godolphin and trainer Brad Cox. So look, to me, when you look at this particular division, I think these are going to be the top 3 on everybody's list here. When you go, and we'll go alphabetically, Good Cheer, Lara, Nitrogen. If you're going to make a top 5, you could fill in the 4th and 5th spot with any number of 3-year-old fillies to fill out that top 5 list. But I think when you talk this division, this is going to be the top 3 on everybody's list, and Good Cheer, Lara, and Nitrogen. We're talking this particular division because there's 2 important races in the 3-year-old division today. We have the Delaware Oaks at Delaware Park. That is the richest race in the country today at $300,000. And then also the Monomoy Girl. That is going to feature the return of our champion 2-year-old filly in Immersive. We get out to Churchill right now. It's Maddie B, Maddie C. Guys, good afternoon.
Joaquin, good afternoon. Matt, good to be with you again here on this beautiful Saturday
Likewise.
afternoon. 10 races on tap. We are currently fast and firm, despite all that rain that showed up yesterday. Still a chance of rain here in the Louisville area this afternoon. Co-headliners, the Chorley Wood later on the turf, but we're going to talk about race number 5. It is the Monomoy Girl Overnight Stakes. They'll be going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track, as Joaquin just touched on 3-year-olds here. And look, Monomoy Girl, arguably the claim to fame for Brad Cox, even in the long history that he's had over the past 10 years or so, she may be at the top of the list. Who knows, maybe Immersive eventually will kind of stake her claim as being one of his best all time. She's making her 3-year-old debut here, Matt, coming in as the 4-5 favorite.
Well, you lose a third of the field. So it goes from 6 to 4. I believe that's a third. And Running Away was a horse who can get a lot of play at 9 to 2. So 4 to 5. I mean, it could turn into 1 to 9.
Could be 1 to 9.
Could be 1 to 9 here. And Graded Stakes wins. Brad Cox has been unbelievable in this category for a few years now, and wow, look at this. Wow, this is the kind of graph you want to see.
Well, this is your jumping off point. This is the Monomoy Girl.
Oh,
Bang.
my goodness, 20.
And it just continues to go up from there. Where you take a look at the rest of this kind of past, call it the better part of a decade now, 8 years or so.
So what is that, from 1 to 20 in 4 years?
In 4 years, and then from
That's
20
incredible.
to living in the 30s for the past 5 or 6 years. And this year, if things continue on this path, he's probably going to be right around 30 or 33 again.
And he's by himself.
Yes.
Right now, it's not like, well, there's a few other trainers that are in the 30. I mean, he is all alone in terms of Graded Stakes wins. Obviously, he trains a lot of horses for Godolphin, and one of those horses is Immersive, bred and owned by Godolphin, wins the Eclipse Award every year as a top breeder and top owner. And she was favored in the juvenile filly. So the thing about her is she can just place herself beautifully into a race, and she had a perfect trip here. There was someone on the front end. I think Nooney got loose on the front end in this race, so she was a little bit further back because the pace was very hot. Even over this racetrack, they went 44 and 4. Look at the move that she makes. She doesn't wow you with figures, but again, this is a 2-year-old. She wins by such easy margins generally that I think you have to keep that as part of the equation in terms of she could go quicker. I mean, the race is over right now. I mean, Manny Franco doesn't have to do anything else here. So just stay aboard, go on and get your Eclipse Award at the end of the year. This is your 3rd straight Grade 1. You win the Spinaway in the 2nd start of your career, the Alcibiades, and then the Juvenile Fillies. And we talk a lot about whether it's 2-year-old fillies or 2-year-old males. They're precocious. And they're ahead of the pack. And sometimes the pack, they grow up and they develop and they catch up, if not surpass those horses once they become 3. But I think she might be the exception because of this pedigree.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, she's by Nyquist out of a Bernardini mare. She's been freshened up. I think on the surface, this is a better filly than the fillies that we've had that won the juvenile fillies the last few years that went on to not really do such good things.
Joaquin, the 2-year-old filly champion, makes her 3-year-old debut later on this afternoon in race number 5, the Monomoy Girl Overnight Stakes. Brad trained her. Brad trains Immersive. Maybe it's Monomoy Girl 2.0.
And guys, appreciate it. Looking forward to that return of Immersive. We will get back to you out there at Churchill Downs in just a little bit. But at the top of the show, we're talking what a big afternoon it is coming up out there at Delaware Park. 5 straight stakes races, starting with the 5th race, ending with the richest race in the country today. It is the Grade 3 Delaware Oaks, race number 9. Post time going to be 4:51. Let's take a look at the 9 3-year-old fillies that will go 1 mile and a 16th today over the fast main track. Fast and firm, at least to start the day out there at Delaware Park. And we have quite a few horses coming out of the Black-Eyed Susan the day before the Preakness Stakes. Margie's Intention was your winner that day. Paris Lily finished 2nd, and Quincy King finished 3rd that day at odds of 9 to 1. They are all coming back in here. And remember, the Black-Eyed Susan, this was a race where there was a long weather delay prior to that, maybe an hour-plus delay that we had. It was so dark outside, then things cleared up just a little bit, and it was run over a very sloppy racetrack. Margie's Intention, previously with trainer Brendan Walsh, then a private purchase, goes to Brad Cox, a Louisiana bred who's going to get her first graded stakes victory in here. Brendan Walsh's horse ran a bang-up 2nd in, though, for Godolphin and Paris Lily, setting the pace that day. And then you can see Kinsey Queen for Greg Compton. 15 lengths back in the early stages, rallies up to get third, only defeated a couple lengths. Now, that race was won over a sloppy racetrack at 1 1/8. Completely different ball game today. Fast-made track, cut back in distance to 1 1/16. 9 3-year-old fillies coming up later today in the Grade 3 Delaware Oaks. I also told you there's going to be plenty of Moneyback Special opportunities. For more on that, we check in with Megan.
Attention all FanDuel racing fans, WynnBET Insurance is now our Moneyback Special. On select days, if your WynnBET finishes second or third, you'll get a bonus back up to $10. It's simple. Opt in for the offer on your FanDuel racing account. Place your first single horse win bet on an eligible race, and if your bet finishes second or third, we'll pay you back up to $10. This offer is not available on races with less than 6 betting interests, and refunds for third place are not available on races with fewer than 8 betting interests. If you're on the homepage on the FanDuel Racing app, scroll on down to the promotions tab. You will see the money back special. Click view offer. You can opt on in here today and take advantage of all the promotions available on the FanDuel Racing app.
All right, Megan, appreciate it. Thank you. Here are the Moneyback Special races today for Saturday, June 14th. It is Haskell Preview Day at Monmouth Park. Race number 10 at Monmouth Park will be a Moneyback Special. In addition to that, race number 10 at Churchill Downs, race number 10 at Santa Anita, and how about Woodbine Mohawk for the Standardbreds? Race number 11 at Woodbine Mohawk. So 4 opportunities, 4 different races for a Moneyback Special opportunity today with us on FanDuel TV, and get your wagers in through your FanDuel